Good morning. Some of you were wondering how I cut my leather when I'm cutting by hand, and this is a piece of the drifter leather that I absolutely love. I'm going to be using a utility knife, marking pen for leather. This will come off, it rubs off. This is a tear bar that I use for tearing watercolor paper when I'm making my own watercolor journals. But it also works as a straight edge for this. I use this all the time to get my lines straight. And then a square that I picked up at the hardware store. They're smaller squares. I like a big one, just so I have the extra measuring space. I think I'm gonna cut a composition, if I hadn't already said that. I'm gonna cut a composition size today. So the first thing I wanna do is get a straight edge down here. So I'm just gonna cut the bottom off. I usually don't just go cutting it like this. I'm usually more, I don't know, I try to use every little piece of the leather, but for this purpose, I'm just going to cut the bottom off. The edges are ripply. You can see how they're kind of ripply from the tanning process. This edge is not near as ripply, but I use these for pockets inside my books. They make nice pockets for purses too. So I'm gonna probably not go over there. I'm gonna cut all the way across though, because I might use part of these for a pocket inside the composition. But usually I just cut my straight edge. This has a plastic stuff on it, and I wish I knew what it was called. I looked for it when I was in Joann's. I got it at Joann's. It's not sticky, it just kind of stays on there. It keeps my ruler from sliding, and that's something you don't want. If your ruler slides when you're cutting, you're gonna ruin your cut. So two things. One, don't hold your ruler flat like this, because sometimes you'll push it. You wanna use the tips of your fingers. And two, you don't wanna press into your ruler. All you wanna do is press down and use the ruler as a guide the best you can. You can't really see that, can you? Let me back up. That's not even straight. There we go, that's a little better. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make my straight edge. Oh, I put a new blade in here. Wow, it's cutting right through it. Usually I use my blades until they're dragging. And you wanna move your hand with the knife because you don't want that ruler to slide. If your hand's up here and you're down here, I guarantee you, you're gonna press into this ruler and it's gonna slide on you. Oh, look at that, nice clean cut. Okay, so for a composition size, we want it to be about 10.5 tall. So I'm gonna take this Tim Holtz ruler that I have. I love this ruler because it has that 0 in the middle, and you can find the center of things really quickly with it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna use this after I measure with this. I'll take this and I'll lean it up against this, just like that. And it's not 100% accurate. It will be off a little bit, but I'll show you how I remedy that. So I'm gonna measure up on the inside because I'm lined up on the inside. You don't wanna measure on the outside because you'll get it wrong, because there's 2 inches down here that aren't, you know, accountable. So we'll go to 10.25. And I just go right on across. And I keep this as straight as I can, because I'm gonna measure again. This isn't the only time. So I measure and I measure and I measure before I cut, because once you make that cut, you're done. All right. I'm gonna take my ruler and lay it here, like so. Line that up, and then I take this guy. See, this can come up a little bit. Down here needs to come up. Sorry, I walk around the camera. Just a hair. Now down here is where it's floppy, so the measurement down here is not going to be near as accurate. So I think I'm good. I'm at 10 1/4 all the way across. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold it with my hand just like this. My hand's cupped. It's not flat. And I'm going to push down instead of pushing in. You'll know it if you push in because you'll end up cutting you'll see metal shards. And make sure you don't get your fingertips. I've actually got my thumb before cutting like this, cutting, you know, opposite of what I'm used to. Go right on across. There we go. All right, so we got 10 1/4. We want to be about 17. Move this down. I'll be about 17. I'm going to stay off this edge because this will become one of my pockets. Actually, I could just cut that off right now. You know what, I'm going to come down a little further because that way I'll have enough for my spine too. You want to be as accurate as you can here. So you want to make sure you're lined up here and down here as straight as you can get. It's still going to be off a little bit because it's, you know, we're human, but it'll be off. It won't be off to where you'll even see it. So we have that. And I can mark this. I think it's about 17 1/2 is where we want to be. And I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to be cutting on the inside. I don't like to cut on the inside as much, even though there's a hole here. So, is that right? No, that's not right. I need to come down here. See, I was measuring. Must have been measuring from the wrong side. 17 1/2. So that's where I want to be. All right, come around. And again, you do not want this ruler to slide. So you're going to hold it with the tips of your fingers and push down on it. And then you're going to push down with your razor knife, not into the ruler. There we go. If you have any questions, just let me know. Have a good day.